What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Workshop Wednesday. I'm Garrett Shaw, and this is episode 4. Today, we're going to start covering one of 3 tools. This will be the Align tool, followed by the Pathfinder and Blend tools in the next couple of Workshop Wednesdays. These couple of tools are all time savers and ways to do things accurately and mathematically inside of Adobe Illustrator, where you would otherwise have to sort of eyeball it. For those of you that maybe don't know what eyeballing is, which I'm doing finger quotes right now for eyeballing. Basically, it's guessing where things are. It's not an exact measurement. It's not, using guidelines or anything like that. You're just kind of, that looks close enough. That's eyeballing. What we're going to do is we're going to go over the Align tool today. The Align tool basically will help you with spacing out objects, making sure that edges and centers of objects are aligned, so that you can guarantee that you're getting the proper shape or the proper cut, or all these other things that'll come in down the line. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to go ahead. I already have Illustrator open, as you guys probably do as well if you're following along. Again, this is episode 4, so if you guys are still wanting to learn the very basics, you can go back to episode 1 and start from there and sort of work your way up here. So this will be a continual series, so don't be worried about missing out on anything right now. So I'm going to pop this back open. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the shape tool here, and I'm going to make a shape. All right, I'm just going to make a square, keep it real simple, real nice and neat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control C, Control V, and paste that. And I'm going to hit Control V again, because you can paste it as many times as you want. One thing you will note is when you paste something inside of an artboard, it will automatically center to the artboard. If you want to, this is just a quick tip, if you want to paste it over top of the object that you copied it from, you can hit Control Shift V when you paste, and it will paste that object directly over top of what you copied. So that can be really handy if you're trying to make like an exact duplicate in the same spot to maybe cut an object, and we'll get into that later with the Pathfinder tool some other time. So what we're going to talk about today is the Align tool. First thing you're going to do after making those shapes is go to Window. You're going to go to the Align tab right here under Window. You can also hit Shift F7, and this guy will pop up right here. Okay, this is maybe, I wouldn't even say maybe. This is probably one of my most used panels in Illustrator. It helps keep everything aligned and just straight and organized, and I know where everything's at, and I know it's all fitting properly and all that good stuff. So first things first, I'm just going to kind of hover over these and explain exactly what each one of these are to you guys. So the first one is horizontal align left. All right, I'm going to use 2 shapes for this. So anytime you're using this panel, you're going to align multiple shapes together. So what you're going to need to do is select at least 2 objects. You could select all these, or in my case, I'm just selecting 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this horizontal align left. And what that's going to do is that's going to align these 2 left sides on the same exact area. One thing to note about all of these buttons is they're going to move to whichever object has the leftmost side, or in some cases the topmost or bottommost side, and we'll see examples of that here in a second. So that is a way to organize it to the left side. Just as an example of the next one, I'm gonna have to make a shape that's a little bit stretched out here, and this is going to be align center horizontally. So when I click on this, it's going to align the center points of the 2 objects up perfectly on top of one another. And then obviously the last option is going to be horizontal align right. You click that, and did you see how it went to the rightmost side that's present between the 2 of them? So that is just, again, something to keep in mind there when you're using it. So if you're confused as to why everything's moving to one side, or you don't want that to happen, just get in the habit of making sure that that's something you're planning on happening. Let's see here. A vertical align top is next up. So what this one's going to do is it's going to snap to the top. So again, just so you guys can see that one more time, you just grab the two shapes, click on that, and it aligns to the topmost edge. We'll go ahead and stretch this out, and then we're going to click vertical align center, and it's going to do the same thing we did here, only it's going to do it on the horizontal axis, which it's a little bit weird because it's the vertical align center versus horizontal align center. It makes sense when you think about it, but I guess it could go both ways. Just remember, the vertical align center is going to move the shapes on a vertical axis, and horizontal align center is going to move them horizontally. That's just something to kind of keep in mind there. Last up, you're going to have vertical align bottom, so it's going to align both of these to the bottommost side of those shapes. All right, so next up, we have distributing objects. So that's it for the align part of the align panel, but that's not all. That's not all right? We're going to go ahead and delete these, and we're going to hit Control V again just a couple times and move these all kind of over the place a little bit, just so you guys can see an example of how all this can be used. So for instance, let's say you have these objects and you want them to be in a perfect line, okay? So we're gonna kind of space these out a little bit wacky, just like I said, for example. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all of these. I want to get them in a perfect line, so I'm going to vertical align center them. So now they're all in the same line here. But the problem here is that all four of these shapes, you know, the gap is not equivalent across the board, right? So this is bigger, a little smaller, and then smallest. But I want that to be even across all those, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click this guy right here, horizontal distribute center, and boom. Okay, that is a perfect matching gap between all four of those. All right, so once again, you just select all the shapes together and you hit horizontal distribute center, and it's going to distribute those accordingly. Another example of how you can do this, I'll do the same thing but with these shapes sort of strewn about. So this one's going to be vertical distribute center, and when I click on this, it's going to merge or space these out between. Actually, let me move these further down even. So what this is going to do is it's going to space these out in a vertical sense. So here we go. I just need to make enough gap so that it's easy for you guys to see what's going on. So I'm going to hit horizontal align center. It's going to line up perfectly, and then I'm going to hit vertical distribute center, and we get that perfect gap again in between those four shapes, except this time in a vertical manner. Okay, if you want to center everything up real quick and easy, you can click horizontal align center, vertical align center, and all four shapes are actually going to be right on top of each other. So just to kind of show you guys, these are just I'm just hitting Shift X as I scale those out, just from center, which you guys should remember from one of the earlier lessons. And then I'm just hitting Shift X to switch it to stroke only, just so you guys can see through and see exactly how those things lined up and that they are in fact all centered. Let's see, what else? Vertical distribute top. So what this is going to do, this one is a little bit weird. It's going to space out the top bars accordingly. Okay, so it's going to do evenly from all of these, and they're going to be in ascending order. So let's switch these back and move them around a little bit here. Okay, so if I click on this and I go vertical distribute top, you're going to see that it sort of just distributes the top side of those. It doesn't really work as well as doing something like, let's say, a vertical align top would be a better choice, and then horizontally distributing them accordingly. And you'll notice that the scaling is based on the size, where, you know, maybe you want these to be evenly spaced still, and we'll get to that in a second with distribute spacing here, just to show you guys an example of that. It's real easy to do there, where you just sort of snap those all together. So back on track here, Horizontal distribute left is going to distribute it to the leftmost side, rightmost side. You're not going to notice very much difference there. Same thing with the vertical distribute center and distribute bottom. You're rarely going to honestly use those. They're handy in some situations, but I will tell you guys exactly which ones I use all the time, and that is the aligns. So you're going to do horizontal align left, align center, horizontal align right, vertical top, vertical center, and vertical bottom. Those are going to be your surefire ones when it comes to sort of organizing exactly how these are going to be working together. As far as distributing them, 9 times out of 10, I use the distribute center, simply because I want to distribute the center point of those objects as best I can. And that doesn't always work as intended or as I would like it to, where distribute spacing actually is the one you want to use. And the way that distribute spacing works is you just you choose here align to. You can choose the selection, which is all your selected objects, a key object, or an artboard. The key object would be like, okay, if I have that object selected, I can pick, I want it to be a 10 pixel gap. And then when I click that, that's going to be exactly 10 pixels between each individual shape. Okay, so that's a real easy way to guarantee that your gaps in there are present and, proper. So if I do like 100, if I do 100 pixels and then hit that button, that's going to be a 100 pixel gap. From there, you could work with vertical distribute space there. We can do 100 pixels again, and it's going to be 100. It's going to be a little scattered. I haven't talked about something in Illustrator that's pretty important, and that is layer order and the way that it works and how it works and why it's important. I really should have, but this is the first time that you guys are going to see it in action. I'll get to it actually in the next tutorial when we talk about the Pathfinder tool, because layering and what order they're in actually has a big part to play inside of that. But for now, just know that the order in which these shapes are created is the order in which they're referenced for getting distributed into different organizations. Okay. With that being said, go back to this and just space these out again. So let's see, just to show you guys a couple of cool things you can do with it, we'll go ahead and just space these out. I want to distribute these accordingly horizontally, because I want to make like a nice stair set. So there we go. And then I want to distribute them vertically as well, and now I have sort of this perfect space there. The one problem I'm seeing here is that maybe they're a little bit too gapped out, so I want them to be, way closer. So I can do key object, and then I can just do like 1 pixel. And then when I click on that, there we go. There's a 1 pixel gap in between each of those. It's a really easy way to like I said, mathematically guarantee that your shapes are exactly how you want them to be positioned. Like I said, this is really coming down to just being a space saver and a accurate way to align things together, versus just show you guys kind of the common method. I'm going to duplicate this. I guess that's 40 pixels or so, and that looks close enough, right? I'm kind of over exaggerating that, but just to be sure, you hit that button, you see that middle one move, you can actually tell, okay, that was actually quite a few pixels off from being perfectly spaced, which in a design world, it doesn't seem like much, but if you're basing a grid off of something like this, or the rest of your layout off of these sort of columns here, or these shapes, then you're going to have a document that looks all sorts of off. All right, so by all means, play around with these. They're very, very handy to use. Like I said, I use them all the time. They're extremely important to get the hang of, and just make sure that you know exactly what you're doing with them. With that being said, I don't want to kind of drag this tutorial out. I want to try to keep it around 15 minutes so it's easy for you guys to view. I hope you guys learned a little bit about the alignment tool and the alignment palette. Again, to get to it, you just go to Window, Align, and then have some fun with multiple shapes and see what you can come up with. That's it, guys. Thanks for stopping by, checking out Workshop Wednesdays once again. I'm Garrett Shaw. See ya.